Welcome to our first EP collab, man. Oakland Vallejo, the Bay Area, stand up. I'm from that town. She from Vallejo. Said let's collab. She said okay. We all should play. Hot potato. Whoever got the hottest vibe, challenge accepted. It's me, I'm the best. Like creative players on hunters, no less. The lines in your forehead just told me you stress it. Got G-O-D on me side. Ooh, he blessed me. All the lies they tell it's a vaccine. They're acting it's so bad like it's wrestling. Keep my circle so small it's insane. If you made the cut then you're part of my team. Just like blowing half pint plus strikes no gutter. Attracted to the mind but I like mine's hooder. She gotta have a pretty face too.
Hey, good evening to everyone watching, or if you're watching a live replay, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, all of those things. Welcome to the channel. I'm Mrs. Best. We have James from the Watch Your Mouth Reviews. He's here. We're here to go over the finale for Basketball Wives Orlando. This is season 1, episode 12, so this should be interesting. These heifers just were the example of just crash landing. Like,
right? Oh my God.
This show is not what I thought that it would have been. I had hopes it would be something different, but with MehganJ as the lead person, I mean, we can't really expect much. She doesn't know how to be or do reality television, it seems, in my opinion, without causing not just having issues with people, but a literal divide. And I feel like she was partially responsible for a lot of the bullshit. So
absolutely.
We're just going to jump into this shit because I'm really, really sleepy, y'all. I haven't really eaten much today either, but we're going to get through. So the ladies have been on a content trip. I don't remember where they're at, but they're at some hotel that has paid them to come there because they're all content creators and they're hoping that them taking pictures and things like that to bring business. So they do have a brunch. And they try to be focused on the brunch, and it looked like Mackenzie, Megan, like a few of the ladies was trying to get content, but you know, they're not focused on that. They've been arguing the whole time. Now, at the brunch, everything was okay, even though there's some ladies who don't like each other. But once again, and this has been a trend since episode fucking 1, when Morgan comes into a room, a dark cloud that's not a normal cloud. This is a storm cloud. Think of looking at a hurricane from the satellite. This is Morgan walking in. Have you noticed that, James? Every time Morgan comes in, the energy changes. Even with the people who don't like each other, they suddenly like can't just be cordial. If you know that every time you go somewhere you fuck stuff up, why do you keep coming? Right?
I can't even say that. When I look at Morgan, it's beyond a dark cloud. It's beyond a hurricane. This lady is a whole tsunami. Like, this is like, when I tell you she is insane, like it's beyond this. Like, a lot of people like, well, she went through a rough marriage. I'm sorry, no, there is trauma.
She's
somewhere
been divorced
else.
too. We found out for years. So
yes, there's something else. It's something else. There is something else here. There's got to be something more that's bothering her other than this, because she literally walks with the pain. Like, somebody had to have done something to her. She is like, this is beyond marriage. Like, I'm sorry, y'all. I cannot sit here, look at this young lady, watch her change and suck the energy out of the entire space and think that, oh my God, well, she's just mad because she went through a really rough time in her marriage and divorce. No, this goes beyond that. I'm sorry.
Well, separate from that, there's been times that I've gone through awful times in my marriage. Listen, I done damn near filed the paperwork a time or two. I ain't gonna bullshit y'all, but I'm not gonna treat my friends like shit. If anything, I think in those cases, it might be a little better. I'm a person that isolates when I'm going through stuff. So usually people know when they don't hear from me, something's happening. But I'd rather isolate than bring down others who are not in the same dark space as me. I think that's selfish to do. But that's what happens. Basically, Morgan and Danielle come in and same bullshit. They go at it immediately. And then while going at it, Morgan, as always, threatens to beat up Danielle. And Danielle was like, do it, sitting there calmly, and then got up and walked away, which I was glad that she did. If someone's really your friend, like I have a friend from high school who, like, some years we close, some years we don't talk. Some years we real close, some years we don't talk. But never has she threatened me and any like disagreements we have, or have I threatened her, like in terms of harm or hell, even other shit? No one's threatening each other. I think if you have to threaten someone, even when your friendship is ending, you were never really friends, because there should be some type of care or some type of empathy that is still there. You just don't do that to people who you once called friends, but it is what it is. I don't even know where to pause to like ask you your opinion of stuff, because they literally fought the whole fucking episode. And I hate to break the
I'll
fourth
say,
wall,
girl, look,
but it's like,
you
how
just
do
got to
you?
begin at the beginning, because at the end of the day, like, there is no way to break up this episode. It's like, yeah, they
It was
literally
fighting from the whole. It was stressful. So, you know, the ladies separate and all of that, and Danielle goes and she talks to Megan, and we basically find out she feels that Mulan is the reason for this and has played chess. Mulan wouldn't have had a move to make in the game of chess if Danielle did not say or do something shady. But at the
I'm
end
just
of
saying.
this, I mean, that makes sense, right?
Right.
These women, something's wrong with them. Basically, Danielle, after she talks to Megan and all of that, the camera then shows Morgan at the table, and she's apologizing to Ashley, which is weird. Ashley apologizes to her. Not so weird, but I don't trust the timing of Morgan's apology, and I don't like how she also tried to be cool with Mackenzie at the table. Here's why I don't like that Morgan apologized to Ashley. This girl said to you and apologized for doing exactly what you accused her of. So she did give your information to the baby daddy, which caused you to have to move and caused him to want to take you back to court and lower his child support and all of that. That's another thing you don't do if somebody was your friend. I don't care how mad my friends make me. I could physically fight somebody who was a friend. I'm not going to come for your kids. I'm not going to get involved in your divorce or anything like that. That shit is messy as fuck. So I'm not quite understanding why Morgan would apologize. Is there anything you want to add to that? Because I'm not going to. It was weird.
There's something I want to add to that situation, but yeah, I'm just because to me, I saw where she was coming from, but at the same time, why are you steady trying to? Never mind. It's not good, because I'm gonna feel stupid asking this question. So I'm just not gonna ask it. Let's move on. Because I was gonna say, why continue to try to be in this girl's space? But never mind.
It doesn't make sense. They all obviously are in each other's space because they want the check. I'm assuming I get why you would want to ask that, but it doesn't make sense. They all talk about how they stand.
Right. And that's why I say, yeah, you got where I'm coming from, because I don't want to, because I know the reason.
Yeah.
But it was like, if hindsight was 2020 and this wasn't due to no money, what other reason would you have? That's why I said it's stupid to ask that question, because I already know the answer.
The whole situation is stupid. I'm tired of Morgan acting like a just fragile victim, but then ready to fight. So I'm just over it. Next scene, we get a slight break from the bullshit. They throw Lindsay, the pregnant, useless basketball wife, a spa shower. She cries. She gets emotional. Seems like she has a good bond with all the ladies, but I don't think that she's right for reality TV. We've had plenty of pregnant people on TV. There was a pregnant lady on Love and Marriage Huntsville, actually, that was pretty messy. We've had some pregnant people on.
Oh, you thought that? Yeah. I know she ain't on the show no more, but yeah,
I know, but that's why I said was. But you know what I'm saying? Like, she was messy as hell pregnant, like to the end. To the end, she was holding the baby after giving back, being messy. So
she got the party started on a couple of them things. She was very much needed for so I wasn't mad at her. Everybody else was. I was, because what the fuck else was they gonna do?
Chris said pregnant and messy as fuck. But my thing is, if you're coming on TV in a group of ladies, to some extent, they're all messy in some way. We know that. Lindsay just did not give anything, and I feel like she has some type of a storyline that she could have gave more on with her husband and his weirdness, but I don't know. They throw a spa shower, it goes well. They give her gifts, they say nice things. Now she has extra luggage going back home. I'm going to move on from that. We then see the ladies go to what looked fun, actually, at that hotel. I wish they would have said the name of the hotel more, because they had this section where they could play games, cornhole, and a bunch of other little games that are fun. But I was confused because they was all dressed like they was ready for the club. So I guess maybe they didn't know where they were going.
Probably not.
They get there and everything is going good. Everyone's drinking. Everyone is getting along, staying to themselves if they don't like each other. But Morgan shows up again. And she never comes with good vibes. It seems she always just has to be the victim and center of attention. So there's not much that happened at that night. So I'm going to move on from that. I know y'all are probably like, she's shipping it through this recap. But I mean, these were the worst finales that I've watched on television in a while for Basketball Wives LA and Orlando. And that is my personal opinion, and I am entitled to it. We did see Ashley in the store shopping. She wants to get gifts for her family from the gift shop in the store. And she runs into Megan while in the store. And Ashley is immediately just rude with Megan, like, oh, she probably wanted to purposely run into me and all this extra stuff, which at first I was like, girl, ain't nobody worried about you.
I was just going to say that. I was like, but it wasn't until Megan opened her mouth that I was
and
like.
And then I was like, you was right.
I was like, Megan, now come on now. Don't make me like Ashley in this moment or feel like I could be on her side. Come on now.
I started out thinking Ashley was thinking big of herself and like, why are you being rude to this girl? Like, give her a chance. Let someone insult you first before you're a bitch. But like Jake said, as soon as Megan opened her mouth, it was clear that she was there to fuck with her.
Yes.
And through that, all I can say is Megan was not so quick with the reads. Ashley read her ass. She did in a few different ways. Megan is not quick. She's still on her Bad Girls Club era of reads. Well, whatever, bitch. That's why your French pedicure is old. Like, she's reading like that. And Ashley's like, listen, you don't like me. I don't like you. You feel me? We ain't got to pretend, but we ain't got to fight. So Megan didn't like that. Only thing I can say about this scene, if y'all go rewatch it, there's an older white lady that was working in that store.
I'm not going here with you today because I know exactly.
There.
Yes,
that
I know
shit
exactly.
was funny as hell. And listen, that lady probably said, I don't think that lady is racist or nothing, but she seen cameras and she's working the store. You just see the lady at the end of it. You could tell she ain't seen nothing too interesting, nothing outside of Columbo in years, because her face, her mouth was open, her jaw was dropped. She's like, who has exchanges like this? And that's just how you know that people don't really act like this everywhere in Florida. That lady proof that not everybody in Florida is crazy.
Well, at least not that part of Florida.
Not that part, but shout out to the lady working at the hotel. Shout out to you. I hope that you are being treated right and that you received some sort of a raise or something.
Yeah, shout out to you, Auntie Gladys. Shout out to you, Auntie Gladys. We see you over there at the hotel. We got you.
Not Auntie Gladys. She looked like a glass. I'm so done. Anyhow, that's all we really got from that. There's just there were so many like little nothing scenes, and it really did drive me crazy. So the next thing we see is because of Ashley and Megan's little beef and their little banter in that store, they decide that the next day they're going to have separate brunches. They were supposed to have a brunch together as a group, but I think it's good they separated because you bitches don't get along. So they separate for the brunch, and at each brunch, I am not going over everything at each brunch. What I will say is the little friends, it was Megan, what's the big one? Four's ex, Nikki. It was Megan, Nikki, Danielle, and
I forgot her name. I forgot her
Morgan
name.
did not go. And then the other group was Nique and Ashley. Who was the other one? There's another one.
No, it was Mackenzie.
Mulan and Mackenzie.
Yeah, it was also Mackenzie.
Girls. So these ladies, they have the opportunity to finally be separate so that they can have fun and get along. And they spend their brunches at each brunch talking about the others and why they don't like each other and why they feel like this bitch is a problem and what they're possibly doing. Neither of them enjoyed their brunches because they were so concerned with the other. Grow up. Grow up, ladies, please. So after we see the stupid ass brunch scene, which was too long, in my opinion, because it contributed
Absolutely.
nothing to the show, in my opinion. We see Ashley, or not Ashley, another melodramatic Morgan scene. Now, throughout this season, she has had scenes where she's by herself walking down the street or walking down a
Just
beach or
looking
somewhere,
pitiful as hell.
just looking pitiful and reflective.
Oh
She's a
my
beautiful
god.
woman, but my God, I'm just, listen, I'm going to say
It's
this.
like
It seems that Morgan, because she says she's had a hard time, she's always losing friends. Why are you always losing friends? That's not normal. Am I wrong? I'm not the most extroverted person. A lot of my friends I've had for over a decade, but the new friends that I've made, like I'm cool with them, and that's that. I've had maybe 1 or 2 fallouts, and one of those fallouts was with someone who we've done this since we were 15, so she don't count. She like family, but the rest of them, like I've had one. So it's kind of like Morgan, like James said, is something deeper.
it has to be. Like I'm not taking my foot off this girl neck when it comes to that. What
Yeah.
happened to you? What was that we saw come across that television screen?
What was that? I cannot.
Shout out to Yana Van Zandt because I love doing that.
Oh my God, it was perfect.
Yes, shout out to yes. What is like Morgan? What is going on?
Iyanla, who did you train? Who is your protege? Where? We need something. I know you trained somebody. Where's your
You
kids?
had to. I need you to.
Come
You know,
on.
Yana, come on. You ain't that old. Come about that retirement.
Get your money.
Morgan
Yes.
needs you
Desperately.
because something is going on. This girl, literally, if I'm telling you, I would be afraid that if pain can represent what we look like, this girl will fall to the ground. I guarantee you. Because there's no way she'd be able to take that. She is hurting. And it's so sad to watch because I literally want to hug her, but I know that that's not going to do anything.
I personally think, and from my education and degree of psychology, I think people think that when you're on an involuntary hold or something, that you've like lost it. You've had your Britney Spears moment or coming after people. It's not always that. The way that she is and the way it seems to have affected her marriage, her relationships with family, her friendship. She doesn't have any friends from what these ladies keep saying to her, and she's always falling out. It's okay to go get some inpatient care, like go to residential, they call it, if you don't want to be on a hold. They have adult residential centers where people can go to get dual diagnostic, like 24-hour healing. And I feel like that's something that Morgan could benefit from, and I hope that she does. So moving it along, Ashley receives the results for her son's assessment. He was delayed and below average in every area that a child his age could test, which led to him officially being diagnosed with autism. I wish them the best. Tony, her husband, seemed to be like, how do you feel about that? And I get the sense from him and from what I know about autism and how it impacts their communication skills that he might feel a little bit of guilt for his children having autism, or that it may bother him in some way because someone who has that struggle is not going to want their children to also have that struggle. But science has come far, especially science of mental health, when it comes to disorders like that. And your kids will be all right, just as you have been all right. It wasn't your fault you got autism. And, genes like that are passed down to, we're going to have a lot more autistic people in the world. So really the rest of us should be learning to adjust and helping them so that, it's just going to happen. So that's unfortunate, but I had a feeling that would happen just based on genes and things like that. But the ladies go on a boat ride after we see that she's found out, which shows the edit was everywhere. Cause I'm like, aren't they supposed to be gone? But anywho, they go on a boat ride, the catamaran, it looked like, and things go well on the boat ride to where everybody's talking about how they love each other, even though they fight, they trying to have a little finale moment. And that's when dumbass Mackenzie, and I'm going to call her dumbass Mackenzie, because that girl, you could tell she's gotten by in life off of her good rack. And that's it. The girl is not smart. Now you decide to bring up, you've been harboring feelings toward Danielle, which I think gave some credibility to Danielle feeling like Mackenzie had something to do with the legal thing and the restraining order, because you're harboring feelings and you're so upset about this man that you go off on Danielle, basically. And the way that she does this is she brings up, after everyone says positive things, people bringing up their problems, you know, and wanting everybody to talk their problems out. And everybody looked confused, like, what? We did that already. What you talking about, Mackenzie? But I'm just, they look surprised she was talking. So, you know, she brings up and addresses Danielle and says, she basically says, I didn't appreciate, you know, Danielle called her a homewrecker, a side bitch, called her stupid, all these things that we saw. And Danielle, or what's her face? Mackenzie says to Danielle, I don't like that you've been saying this. And Danielle says to her, listen, until Rashad tells me he has a girlfriend, you're just the side bitch. And honestly, that's where some women fuck up. It's not one thing for him to be like, oh yeah, we together. We go to get a real bad or however the fuck. When a man is with you, he gonna post you when you don't want to be posted or when you're fucking sleep and look like shit. My husband does that shit. If a man wants you, he's not gonna hide. He's not gonna hide that he's with you. This doesn't matter if it's a man dating a man, a trans person dating a man, or vice versa, however the hell you put it. If someone wants you, they're not gonna hide you. They don't need to put you all over social media. You ain't got to have that you've been married since 06 on your Facebook or none of that. But they're not going to hide the fact that you are their person or that you're together. Right. Rashad seems to be hiding Mackenzie from everybody that counts. It seems they do a lot alone. So I'll give Danielle that, but saying it to that girl so much, now you're just bullying her. You're not with this man. What is the reason? So, you know, it doesn't make any sense. But basically, Mackenzie finally decided to speak up for herself. And when she was called a side bitch, she said, no, my man, my man. Neck all over the place.
Right.
And ain't even pointing this all doing that and shit. I don't know what the hell it was about, but she said that's her man. And she knows all his business, she said. I said, now we got to see how to lose a man, y'all. Because they're probably not together anymore. And that's why I wish there was a reunion. So she says she knows all his business. And she starts talking about how he has her blocked. And she sees the emails that Danielle sends constantly and all of this shit. Things almost get physical. In my opinion, Mackenzie, you're the example of the term and phrase too little, too late. You can't, listen, this girl been coming for you the whole season. She has not bullied you. She hasn't, but she has come for you. And at any moment, you haven't said shit. I would have told my man, check your bitch, and then checked her myself. But, you know, I don't get it. Mackenzie just seems really passive. And I'm going to say this and then be done. Megan says what we were all thinking, and this is how they ended the finale, which was weird. That man don't want either of y'all. He don't want either of y'all. He blocked the baby mama and got a restraining order on her after cheating on her and breaking her heart after 2 kids. And then he fucking ain't claiming Mackenzie publicly. He don't want either of you. And I'm glad Megan saw that. And my point that I stated, and I'm sure James will agree, all this arguing on this boat over a cheating ass man. A man that has shown that he's not going to treat any woman that he's dealt with well. Maybe it's because I'm not even old. I'm 31, but like, even at 25, my friends weren't fighting over men. So I don't know.
It makes no sense. I
agree. I have to see.
It's sad to see. It makes no sense. On both parts. It makes no sense on both parts. I don't believe they're together. I said this from the beginning. I don't believe they're together anyway. I think that, I don't think they're together anyway, because to me, we haven't seen them together. So that validates. She lived 3 doors down from her baby daddy and Nique. So I'm sorry. If I'm dating somebody, I'm not trying to pull up to your house for you to drop your baby off 2 doors down to the father. That's not going to happen. I'm not going to see that. We're going to end the relationship right there.
Mackenzie attaches unhealthily to men. I will say that because you moved 2 doors down from that man while dating another one. And now you're fighting saying, I know all his business. That's my man. Honey, pillow talk is a thing everywhere. You can sleep with a nigga once.
Okay, for real though. That wasn't nothing to brag about. That wasn't nothing to brag about. I'm sorry. You was better off saying, you know, what he do to hurt me.
She should have just been saying he's fucking me now over and over. You could have won just saying that. But
okay.
That's mine.
Okay,
Hey, you know all his business. You say
right, exactly. Or
but
even better,
even
and if you want to make a man, you could have strong J. You throw them draws and said, "This is the essence of sex." Voila. I'm just saying, you could have did that. Even I would like. I mean, I'm just saying.
Mackenzie, and then afterward, the joking, the ladies getting excited, like there she is. This isn't Bravo's call center. What the fuck network is this?
VH1's
that's
call
dying.
center. I'm gonna
VH1.
call them.
Listen, I understand the new generation wants certain things on TV. Don't do that with the old shows where you got the people who was watching, 10 to 15 years ago. Okay, we older now. We don't have the energy for that, and we don't. Now I see that they have the Impact New York, Impact Atlanta with all the little social media stars. That's fine. That's for that generation. That's fine. But for shows like Basketball Wives, find wives or let it go. And that's all I'll say. As for Mehganj,
I don't want to see basketball hoes or jump offs. I want to see actual wives that actually have went through it. And I don't mind ex-wives because at some point you can show us what it's like to move forward from somebody else.
You an ex-wife though,
but ex-wife, not Morgan kind of ex-wife. I don't want to see that shit. I want to see the ex-wife that is flourishing and taking her opportunity, dug up the money from the backyard and the tomatoes, like her the real person, and she's gonna show us what she's gonna do with it. I want to see that. If y'all don't know that movie reference, then y'all, because let me tell y'all something, y'all grandmama should have taught y'all that. Hide some money and some tomatoes. That's all I'm saying.
Listen, and we will leave it there. I did enjoy recapping the season. It was interesting. It was a little draining, but it was interesting. So what's going to happen? This is our last recap for Basketball Wives Orlando. If they do post a reunion, we will recap it. But if they don't, then thank you for watching my recaps of Basketball Wives Orlando. If they ever come back, we'll recap it. If something else comes back, we will. It looks like the next show that will take the place of Orlando will be Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, which we're going to recap after this show. And then there's also Bold and Bougie I'll be recapping, but I don't know. I have to see the days. My schedule right now is fucked up, y'all. So I will figure that out. But we're going to move on now to Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Thank you for watching and have a good night.